My name is Milian. I edit a section on Bloomberg.com called Global Tech, where we're trying to, find all of the cool entrepreneurs and technology that's happening outside Silicon Valley. We're hiring reporters in China and throughout Asia and Europe. And so I'm excited to talk with a brilliant group of people about how Silicon Valley can translate some of its ideas and its developments to China. And so we've got a good group of folks to talk to you about that. We're going to start by doing a couple presentations so that some pretty big Silicon Valley companies can tell you their approach to China, and then we're going to have a discussion. So I think we're trying to set up some technical stuff. I don't know if we've got that together yet. So the first person we're going to hear from is Amy Gu from Evernote, who's going to tell us a little bit about how this giant note-taking app is trying to take over China. Thanks,
Amy. Hey everyone, we wouldn't really call ourselves a giant note-taking app. We usually call ourselves like a place for you to remember all your favorite, all your important memory. Just introduce myself a little bit. So my name is Amy Gu. So I'm actually based in Beijing. So I'm just traveling here for business, and then I'm going to fly out tomorrow. So it's great to see everyone here, and also it's very exciting to see a lot of startups coming to the stage and to the pitch. Definitely feel a lot of passion there. So I will just try to tell our story a little bit to share with you what we as Evernote China have done in the past 2 years about just expanding in China as well as just in a startup way. So as you may know, hold on, let's see, it's working. Oh, perfect. So we are a note app. Maybe a little quiz. How many people use Evernote here? Hands up. Oh, everyone. Okay, perfect. So I'm not going to go through this very long. So we're an app that helps you remember everything from your phone to your PC to just every device you can find in the market. And here. So we are actually very global company. So Lisa, if you can switch that slides, please. Thank you. So we are a very global company, and then we have a lot of we have users in a lot of countries. So from Europe to Asia to Latin America. Those are the list of their just our 1 million. We call it 1 million user club. So as you can see, there are a lot of those. So we are also, oops, the Wi-Fi has some problem here. Hold on. I'll just press this one. Okay, so we are very, we have a lot of offices in globally. So we have so far all those offices in, beyond Redwood City. We also have office in Austin, Zurich, Korea, Japan, and then Tokyo, and also China. So this is probably something you never see before. It's, okay, here we go. So this is a slide. I think it's first time for me to show everyone. It's a timeline of how we expand globally. So I know there are a lot of people who are doing startups, a lot of CEOs here, a lot of people founders who just started their business. So this is probably a typical roadmap for a Silicon Valley startup to expand globally. So as you may see, like when we first start in 2008, we already have 50% of the users from outside of US. And until today, we have 75% of users coming from outside of US. And that is, so for us, we feel we are a worldwide company instead of a US company. So actually this week, we have about, how many people? Like 30, 40 people from everywhere in the world, from Latin America, from Russia, from China, from Europe, to come to the Redwood City office to have an international marketing summit. So China is actually came pretty late to the stage. We launched in China 4 years after we started Evernote. So as you can see that green box there, we launched in 2012, and then in Beijing. So at that time, we already have, as far as I remember, 30, 40 million users globally. And we have roughly about less than 1 million users in China. So far, till today, 2 years after we launched in China, we already reached to 10 million users in China. So, very different type of users, from college students to professionals to even someone. We just heard from a user who is already 80 years old, but who is still working on his skills in learning about apps, learning about how to use Evernote. So that is what we have been trying to learn more from China, especially try to interact more with our Chinese users. I don't know, I think here I just prepared a few things we have done in China. I actually don't know how many people here are actually just in the startup stage or already in a very kind of like big stage, like grow up stage already. So I'll try to make this as useful to you guys. But for the first one, the first experience or tips I want to share is Chinese name is very important. So when we first launched in China, we did launch a new Chinese name, which is called 印象笔记. So if you know Chinese, it actually have 2 different meanings. The first one is more like a memory note. So 印象 means memory, and then 笔记 means note. So we want our name to deliver our message of being able to help people to save their memories. But the second meaning, which is very interesting to me and then to a lot of users, is because we are like elephant head over there. So that xiang, the second character, actually it means elephant. So our user loves the name very much. So and then still today, when they talk about the names they like, the translated name they like, and then they do like our name best, and then I'm always very proud of that. So the second part, I think this is something we're probably going to talk in the panel as well, but I want to share with you is we have a very clear vision and very direct vision that we are just going to have a similar, same feature for our global users, top-tier product features from our product team. So it doesn't really differentiate from whether you're Chinese users or whether you're European users. It's all the same. But that is not enough. With the top-tier product features, we still want to work with all the great local partners we have everywhere. So in China, we work with all the top-tier apps. And in Japan, in Europe, it's all the same thing. So we want to make our products still like the global flavor, global feature, but with local flavor that our users can enjoy themselves. So I'm just going to go through very quickly on a bunch of features we did. So this is a feature that we did, multi-select pictures. This is in all the Evernote iOS apps, but it was based on the Chinese user feedback. Like Chinese users say, hey, I want to select multiple pictures and then save it to Evernote, just with a few clicks. We were like, all right, okay, we'll think about it, and then we add this feature into the Evernote app itself, so everyone in the world can enjoy these features. And here's another one. This is called Evernote Food, if you ever use it. So it's app for you to take a picture of your favorite food into Evernote. And then if you see that flashlight on the top, that is actually a feature our China team come up with. When we were in a bar in Shanghai, and then we were trying to take a picture of the food, the drinks, but then it was very dark. So someone from my team is using the flashlight of his phone to kind of like just put that on the top of the food, and then the other one just take picture. And then we were like, oh, so why don't we add a flashlight into our camera so that we don't have to rely on someone else to take a picture of food in the evening? And right now that is also in our Evernote Food, in the Evernote Food app, which everyone can use as well. So this is another one, is Wi-Fi, only sync in Wi-Fi. So users in US probably do not really care that much about data package, because there's unlimited data package every month. But in some other countries, we do concern about it because it's very expensive. So this feature actually also was added to the Evernote app after our product managers hear the feedback from Chinese users. So we try to keep the same global features, but that global features is based on feedback from the worldwide users, not only the users in US. Here we go. So I was talking about local partners. So here it's not everyone, but it's a few partners we work with in China. As you can see, WeChat, Weibo, QQ browser, Dolphin browser, UC browsers, they are all there, and then they are all very wonderful partners to work with. They focus a lot on user experience, and by working with them, Evernote users can easily save any of the content from their apps into Evernote easily. So that is very important to us because it creates a good experience for the users as well. So this one I'm going to go through quickly. If you're interested, I'll show you some pictures. It's just being creative, and not creative as a US company, but creative just as a Chinese company. This is a WeChat, social media account we have been operating, and then we got a lot of users under this account who follow us and then try to interact with us. And this is event, I probably don't have enough time. This is a Beijing Marathon event we did, where if you see all the frames, we all have our elephant logos there. So almost 40,000, I think 40,000 people saw those frames and they use it to take pictures for themselves. Here is another one we just did. This is an event we just did last month in a top-tier shopping mall in Beijing, and it attracted a lot of people. And we have a lot of people, attending our event outside of the mall, and we also have a lot of kids, playing with our, Post-it note, Evernote Post-it note inside the mall as well. I don't have enough time. This is shorter than this. This is not a kid. Okay, so quickly, here we go. So this is very important. I'm going to talk about this in the panel, but I think this is customer service is something people should pay more attention to when they launch in finance. So this is our Weibo account where we run our customer service there. And this is 4 points I was just going through, and then I can talk more later during the panel. And most importantly, it's hire great people and run as a startup. I think this is something people should always pay attention to. So these are team pictures, and thank you, everyone.
All right. So next up, we're going to hear from someone who's working on a product that's been around Silicon Valley for a long time. It's for professionals. It's kind of a must-have for anyone who's, a working professional on the internet here. But it's really just getting started in China. So to tell us a little bit about what their plans are is Henry Lee, the head of product at LinkedIn China.
Thanks, Mark, for the intro. Hi, my name is Henry Lee, and it's very nice to meet you all here. Okay, so this is bilingual slides. So when we go to China, we start having some event. We redid the slide for China. So somehow, okay. Sorry, didn't have time to translate all English. So this is bilingual. So the first is just a very quick intro. I think here probably you all very familiar with linking. So I will go through a little bit faster. In the first half, linking is the world's largest professional network. Let's see. Okay. So the latest number we show that we have 300 million worldwide registered users. And in China, we just recently also announced we had 5 million registered users. So the growth rate is like 1 second, three new users on average. And of course, we have users in more than 200 countries. And we also have launched 22 languages, with the simplified Chinese, the latest one. Okay, so I will spend more time on here. So you can see the linking was founded almost 10 years ago by Reid Hoffman. The company went public in 2011. And actually in 2012, we set up a first representative office in China to study the explore China market. And I was the first person to hire in China to do the study. Then after the study, then and also interaction with the local partner, we actually formally announced the entry early this year, early January. And we also hired Darrison to be the president of our China effort. And then in the end of February, we launched the Simplified Chinese edition of our site, and also launched the Lingying as a Chinese brand name. So one thing is we also look at how, because usually people ask why lots of US internet companies not so successful in China, right? So we also had done all those study and learn from those lessons, and then actually good example like Evernote. So one thing we found out is just really we need a strong local leader, and one thing is just also from Reid and Jeff just feel like we need someone with the startup experience. We are not going to do like multinational companies office in China. Not like hire a professional manager for this office, but we want a startup team, startup mentality. You all can see later the structure set up also shaping up that way. So then we do an executive search. We found Darrison because he was the founder of Nuomi and grow it to be a top group buying company and then sold to Baidu. So we really found someone with entrepreneurial experience and spirit. And the other thing, just offer him enough power because he reports directly to Jeff. So he also is a VP of Linking Global. So he really had enough power to run the China operation. So this is also one lesson we learned from the previous example. So for Linking, our vision is to create economic opportunity for everyone, every member of the global, I need to look at this global workforce, right? And the mission is to connect the world's professional. Then if you look at our mission and the vision, we really had to go to China because everything right now is connected. And if we had more users in China, actually also benefit to our existing users outside China. For example, like you guys, many folks here probably think interesting about China. But if Linking can provide a platform let you to connect with the entrepreneur and then the folks in the same industry as you, then that would be great, right? So that's why China is very important to us because it's a big economic there and lots of talent there. Okay, so linking's value come from the several parts, both to member and then to business. To member, we offer a professional identity, and then insight and opportunity. Then professional identity, that's what separate out from our personal identity, right? This is where you can stand out, and you can build your connections, and then that's where when people search from search engine, they can find you. So that's where you establish your identity. And with the insights, that bring you lots of knowledge from the business leaders. And then, so for example, we had an influencer program. We had 450 most influential folks writing original article on the LinkedIn platform. And then, of course, the business opportunity. The business opportunity, not just job. There's a lot of opportunity related to just a business opportunity, just the people like entrepreneur looking for investor, right? And then you finding a business partner. So one thing, the difference, if you are become the user active in LinkedIn, the opportunity will find you rather than like you are chasing this, because people could find your experience and then they reach out to you. Okay, so our value to the enterprise is companies is these three areas. But if you look at this high market and sale, it covers everything. That's the most important thing a company need to do, right? First, hire great people, and then when you have great product, you need to sell them, and you need to market them. So basically, we provide a tool to help you to do that. Okay, now we'll talk about a little bit about LinkedIn China, how we approach this. So this is our how we look at us. Just we're going to, that's our mission for China, just to enable LinkedIn as a platform that globalizes the Chinese professional and then help them to better achieve their career goals. So that's our definition. And you can see this is after our thinking, right? Thinking the market, this is our strength because we are a global network. And right now, China also, of course, it's connected with the global economy. And then talent also, there's a lot of movement. The talent looking for opportunity, and also foreigner also going to China for opportunity. So that's what we hope to, this platform we're going to provide. And earlier talk about just this is also one lesson we learned from the past operation. Just we really found a good partner to guide us. So this is two parts here. One is if you look at this setting, the China team is kind of like a startup company, because only startup usually you have VC investment here. So the China operation had a VC investment, and the two of them, the very prominent VC. And of course, they can provide lots of advice to us. Okay, so early this year, we launched the simplified Chinese version, and then we had done quite a few localization. It seems that I don't have too much time, but I just say first is integration with the local ecosystem. The one thing is that China, just internet, just had totally different ecosystem. The search engine are different there, and the browser use are different, and the social media are different. And then LinkedIn in the US had lots of integration with Twitter and Facebook, and we had to upgrade and then change it to the appropriate one there. So we had done all those. And then there's some little subtle things. Like for example, if you look at lots of US side, right, when they translate into Chinese, for example, if you look at the name, it's like a last name, first name, all separate, because that's kind of US way to separate. But in China, you really put the full name together. So when you ask people to sign up an account, we just give them the Chinese full name. Okay. And furthermore, we also found in the Chinese, lots of professionals, they actually had an English nickname, like me, like Henry, right? So sometimes people search also very important. If you let people enter their English name, then it's easier to find people. Otherwise, sometimes lots of people with the same names. So we had an optional field for the English name. Okay, and then this is some other example of localization. One also is a partnership with WeChat. we have introduced called linking name card. It's like an online business card, and then you combine your account, linking account with WeChat account. WeChat we all know, like so far maybe have been mentioned many times throughout the day. So it's the biggest social network now, and then there's a lot of users, including professional users there. But there's one thing. Sometimes you make lots of friends at WeChat, and sometimes you forgot who they are. But we really allow you a way to put your LinkedIn profile together with your WeChat profile there, and so then people can know who you are, especially your business partner. Another thing, just we work with some local partners, Sina and then Tencent News, to translate the influence article into Chinese. So also bring this content to China. This is an example of our kind of very deep integration with WeChat. This is doing account binding. Just if you go to LinkedIn website today, if you go to edit and then go to edit your contact info, then you can add a WeChat account. When you click add WeChat account, actually pop up the QR code. Then you're using your WeChat to scan this QR code. Then your two accounts are connected. Then your LinkedIn account show up on WeChat, your WeChat account show up on LinkedIn. So it's all seamless. You don't worry about forget your password, you just do a scan. So this is, and then later on when people visit you, they can click on your contact info and get a WeChat QR code. Then they can connect with you on WeChat. And then when you do the binding, we also generate a status update. It's a new status update to the lower left corner there. It says, okay, Henry had just add the WeChat account to LinkedIn. Then his first degree connection going to see it. They also can follow. So we do some of this tight integration with the local partner to provide a better user experience. So the other part is this is more on product side. I think we still need lots of efforts. That's why today we still call our beta version. We still a lot to do to improve. And but this is more for promotion, the offline promotion. So this is also haven't done in the US, but we're trying out this in China. Just take the concept of this influencer from online to offline. Just we bring this prominent business leader to event and to share their career experience and then business know-how and then experience with the LinkedIn user in China. So we had just recently hosted two of these events, one in Beijing, one in Shanghai, and it was very well received. And then for each event, there are about 400 seats, but then total there's more than 1,600 users sign up. So for the first event, our founder Reed, he participated, and also the partner, managing partner of Sequoia China also participate. And then to the left is Darrison, our president of China. So they basically share their experience, because both of them, they both are entrepreneur and also investor, and all very prominent both in the US and in China. So they share lots of experience. And this is the event in Shanghai. It's in the business school there. It's also the very successful event. So there's a picture of the Shanghai event. Okay, so lastly, this is a picture of our Beijing team. Similar to Amy just said, the people, hiring great people is the most important thing. So we're really looking for people who have lots of energy and smart folks, and then just also people how to say, had a sense of humor and had lots of great idea, team builder. So that's a picture. And then right now, actually already adding a few more. So we are hiring very quickly in Beijing now. Okay, so that's the presentation. Thank you.
I'm gonna try to get this off. All right, thanks, Henry. Do you want to take a seat? And we'll bring up Amy Gu, General Manager of Evernote, and Soujanya Bhumkar, the co-founder and CEO of Cooliris, which is a photo and messaging company that's blowing up in China right now. I know it's getting late in the day, so we'll keep this short and hopefully entertaining. I guess let's just, now Henry and Amy, you both kind of touched on this in your presentations earlier, but what is it about China that is drawing Silicon Valley in? Amy, you got any thoughts on that? Why China? Because you've been there for a long time, working at various internet companies in China.
Yeah, but I think LinkedIn is doing very well in China recently, right? So, so why China? So, as you guys just say, just saw my slides, we were not super early in China. I mean, we have been thinking about almost 4 years before we decided to launch in China. I think for us, the reason why we launched in China is because we have seen a huge growth in China. We have seen people start to use Evernote, and then a lot of people are downloading on their iPhones and then Android and then PC, etc. So I think those are the reasons, main reasons that we decide to do something in China, and that's also always advice I gave to visitors from Silicon Valley to our office, which is look at your China number first, and then look at your past growth to decide whether it's worth it or not, because it's very expensive to launch a new office. So you have to really think about it before you do something there.
Henry, you spent some time at Apple and Google before you decided to strike out and go to Beijing and set up LinkedIn's operations there. What was the allure of China for LinkedIn?
I think just because our goal is to connect world's professional, and then so China really is a too big a market to ignore, and then so it's a lot of professional there. And by one estimate, it's 150 million professional. So to us, really a very important market. And also, before we launched the Simplified Chinese, when we just had English, we already had a good follower of user there. So we do see this market is very important to us. And another thing, just for some of the big cities in China, like Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, they actually become more and more like US. Western world in terms of business dealing, how they do business, because there's lots of multinational company in China already over the year, maybe for the last, when they first came in since the last 30 years. So lots of company, they really, so we had this user base, potential user base that's right for professional networking.
Right. Soujanya, your Cooliris is based in Silicon Valley, more or less, and coming from the Valley and starting to look at the Chinese market as a big potential market for your company, what were some of the differences you saw between the internet usage there and here that might surprise somebody who's trying to get an operation started over in China?
So, firstly, thank you for the opportunity, by the way, to you and PingWest for being here. What we noticed, it's very similar to what Amy and Henry said. When we launched the product in the market, there was immediate user traction, but instantly we saw some pretty differences, big differences, I would say, compared to the rest of the world. The big differences, I would say, was while Facebook here is popular and you have a broadcast style network, in China you had a WeChat style, which is people think of as a messaging app, but it really is a platform to enable many things. So fundamental communications were happening using WeChat, which was a bit more private medium. And there was a shift going on because there was Ren before, then came the Weibos. So there was distinctly a significant shift that was happening right in front of our eyes, which probably was way more faster than what we have seen in the other markets. Number two, the user adoption is way more, I would say, at a much higher pace and at higher velocity. So you pretty much quickly know within the first couple of weeks whether what you have, something going on, is it tracking well to the market or not. So I would say these two differences, one more from the macro system of what are the changes happening in the market, and secondly, the user adoption were the two probably the biggest changes we noticed.
Amy, why do you think the Chinese are so quick to adopt new apps, as Soujanya said?
Well, I think speaking of the apps, the main driver is always the new devices. So I think in the past few years, the Chinese users have been, exposed to a lot of new devices. So iPhone is very popular there. Samsung is very popular there as well. So I think it's a chance for them to look for new things, and then every time they were in the App Store, they find new things there. So I think for me, with the increase of new devices, the market is just there for the apps. So people should just, go. But speaking of that, I think the market has been changed a little bit in the past 3-4 years. So I don't know if you're going to touch this, but for example, I think 2 years ago, when we first entered into China, the device partners we work with are a little bit different from the device partners we're working with now. So they're like people going really, growing very well. They're like, players kind of like, disappeared from the market. So I think it's timing thing. So for me, I think, but still the market's there, but you have to consider carefully about who are going to work with.
Henry, do you think Silicon Valley companies need to rethink their business models a little bit when they're going after China? Is the monetization in that country different than it is here?
Yeah, I think definitely. Probably it's a different mindset, and then sometimes, but I think what's a good thing is right now more and more we see that people start willing to pay, even consumer. I think right now there's some app. As long as you provide real value to the user, they actually willing to pay, and then even some of the like monthly fee. But the monthly fee, what they can tolerate, maybe lower than what's US here, and then so definitely I think from monetization point, had to rethink about this. It seems what in China, just users still willing to pay for the games, and also advertising still a good way to go.
You guys charge same money?
So right now we actually getting most our revenue from the enterprise. It's a 2B business, like a recruiter's solution. For our paying user, most of the services are free, and we don't plan to charge them for this. But sometimes there are some VIP account, maybe it's more for headhunter recruiter to use. But for ordinary user, it's all free.
And that's very different than how it works in the rest of the world, right? With LinkedIn.
I think this part still the same. I think for the rest of the world also, our 50% revenue from business recruiter kind of solution and then 20% from advertisement. That's also mostly business, and then maybe a little bit more than 10% from the individual premium subscription. But those quite often also is a salesperson or business development person, because they need to reach out to folks within the LinkedIn network.
Can I just jump in here? So, being a consumer-facing application, we had sort of 3-tier plans, pricing plans in the rest of the world. And then in China, we realized that the 3 levels are free, free, and free. So there was no doubt in our mind that we have to evolve. So while you have this huge magnetic effect for being attracted to the sheer scale that China brings, you also have the equally daunting task and the challenge that your business model has to be adapted. I would actually put India as another country where you have the similar challenges, where you have the scale, the potential of penetrating into the market, making an impact on people's lives, but creating a business out of that, especially with charging the consumer, that's actually very, very hard. With that being said, we have now 2 apps. One is already in the market, which we've kept it all free, partly because the variable cost for us is almost 0 to that, so it doesn't really matter. Now we have a new upcoming app, which is ironically in the messaging space, and we are going to be trying out a freemium model, which will mean free for pretty much everything, but an in-app purchase. How it goes in China, yet to be seen.
See, I want to add that a little bit as well. I hope it's not too long. I think that is very like free. It's not really what we have experienced.
That's good news.
So we are, we started from premium in US, and we did bring the same business model to China as well. And in the past, when we first entered into China, I have doubt as well. I was like, hard to make money. People we're not going to pay because it's we charge same price for the Chinese users compared to the US users. But as we found in the past 2 years, is people started to pay, and people are more willing to pay. So and then our growth of the revenue is actually aligned with our growth of the user numbers, which for us I think is a good thing because the percentage almost keeps the same. So one interesting observation I found is people don't actually want to pay for the technology, like they pay for the service. So for us, we do not just throw our app there saying, hey, you have a chance to pay. We have people behind the app, behind the technology, telling them that, hey, anytime you have problem, just let us know. Anytime you need some help, let us know. And then we were just there as a human being, and people pay for that. So I got a lot of feedback from the social media, people saying, I got this problem in the Evernote, and then they just helped me, and I feel very impressed. No one did this to me before, and then this is like my friend, my partner, so I'm going to pay it, or I already paid it. So I think that's some little observations that we have in the past, and I do think China is changing on that perspective.
And Evernote has done something a little unique. When they started in China, they set up essentially a standalone corporate entity there with a new brand and a new name. Why do that, and how has that worked out for the company?
Why do that?
Well, in the case of LinkedIn, it's just LinkedIn in China, just like it is everywhere else in the world.
We also had a Chinese brand, Lingying. But this is a tricky question. I think it's maybe really depend on your company's case. Because, for example, lots of luxury goods, they don't have Chinese brand name. They just had their original French name or Italian name because this was let people know or feel like this is very high end. You don't want to change the image. So for us, it's also a difficult question. We want to be like a high end just because it's professional. And but we also realize the English, first linking is sometimes difficult to pronounce. And then we really want people to have another name they can more easy to use and then feel like more like a Chinese product. Another thing, just if you don't have a Chinese name, sometimes people still will make up a name for you. Maybe that's not what you want, but they just keep calling your name. So it still take the initiative just to find a good name for us, ourselves. So it seems this work out for us. But in terms of branding, at least right now, still LinkedIn is the main one. Lingying is the more secondary. And then we quite often present them both. Because before this year, we already had lots of users using the LinkedIn brand.
Yeah, so for us, it's in reverse. Like we use the Chinese name as a main name, and then our English name as a kind of like a parallel name. The reason is very simple. It's just because we want to be a 1 billion, user app in China. We want everyone to use it, and then having a Chinese name is just easy. People feel it's more friendly to them, and it feels like someone close to them. So.
All right. Well, thank you.
A bit of a contrasting answer to this, or
sure. If quickly jump in.
Yeah. So we have adopted a different strategy. We do hear from users saying what is the Chinese equivalent brand name, but our growth strategy, although the topic is how to survive, I think we look at growth in China, not just survival, has been to partner, and the partnerships for us include Renren, Baidu, Tencent, as well as Sina Weibo. And I think we've relied a lot more on our partners to help us get into China, but then provide a benefit to these partners outside of China.
So there's 2 ways to go about it. There you go. All right. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.